Okay. Um, well, what can I say except the fact that once again our labbing is on hold because I can't get anything to work. Okay, so here's the thing. All right, so when I find something that works, I store it in on my local drive. Okay, and I will back up that local drive and always have done this for many years. Okay, so so decades later, okay, I have about 2 terabytes was worth of saved data. Okay, now this will be a tons of Cisco iOS images. Okay, ASA images, virtual routers like CSR, CSR routers. Sorry, um, and um, um, GNS3, Eve. Okay, and here's the reality. Okay, Eve, I've never got to work. Never. As a matter of fact, there was one point that actually I did get Eve to work. Okay, and um, I actually was using it for a bit. Okay, until something ended up causing me to not use it. Okay, so I stopped. Then I went to IOU. Okay, then and that stopped. Okay, never went back to IOU. Okay, except today. Okay, all right, but we'll get to that. And um, um, since that one moment in time, which was like I said, over a decade ago, when I had Eve working that one time, okay, all right, and it didn't last for 3 days because I ended up running into a problem, and I was like, I'm done with that, okay, and I was like, I'll wait until they come out with another version, and see how things was going because I was really excited for that platform, okay, so. As of today, this platform still doesn't work for me. Okay, all right. And when I mean and here's the thing, guys. When you create a virtual machine to run on VMware or VirtualBox, and you can't even get 2 seconds into the installation because you can't even import it, okay? All right, this screams amateur hour all across the board. Now, GNS3, okay, was at one point my favorite, my favorite one. Okay, until they went to version 2 point God knows what. Okay, all right, and I was done with that. But here's the thing, I was done with it way before that version came out anyway. Okay, because I had switched over from there to um, um, real equipment, and I've never looked back. Okay, GNS3 was not necessary unless I was at work and needed to lab while I was at work. Okay, all right, which I would do from time to time. All right, but 2.0 came out. All right, and the complications of getting that up and running was, dude, why even make the educational learning curve on something like that, which was completely unnecessary from my perspective. All right, um, and it served no benefit when my equipment sits right here and it works. Okay, so um, I can't get even GNS3 fresh download as of today. I can't get that to work. Okay, all right, it comes up and tells me that there's no configuration for the network adapter, and there is this whole big ass thing, okay, in like 5 to 6 steps, okay, for you to go through and make changes to the registry, changes to this, go into the security aspects, and go into the group policies, okay, and none of this works. Okay? All right? So, and it's funny because when you're watching the video, it works for them. It always does, right? Okay? But it doesn't work for me. So, GNS3 and Eve still, as of today in 2025, is a non-solution. Period. Okay? Now, the only other option I have, okay, is to actually hook a monitor up to one of my servers to see if it has RAM in it, okay, which is one of my, which I believe does not, but it might, okay, and put bare metal ESXi on there. Now, here's the thing. I can't even get ESXi anymore, okay, because VMware's screwed up method of using a third party to download software that the third party you can't even get to the link to download. Okay, so I'm done with that. If my ESXi version that I have stored in my storage does not work on bare metal, because it definitely does not work, okay, as a matter of fact, I don't think I've tried that recently, so I'm going to try that. Try to create it as a VM, but here's the thing. Okay, all right. I have an AMD chip, and I think there's something wrong with that chip that's not allowing me to enable, okay, the virtualization on the actual VM. And you gotta understand, because you'll be like, well, why would you need to? And you got virtualization on the actual BIOS, okay. So why the hell would you need it in the VM? Well, the thing is, you're creating a virtual machine. Okay, if you're not enabling that aspect, you can't create any. You'll be able to run the VM, but there's an interesting thing about VM technology, which is called nesting VMs, having VMs within a VM. Okay, and you setting that that thing on the actual processor. Okay, why am I trying to explain this and just show you? That's just crazy. Okay, so and this is an older version of IOU that has always worked, and it doesn't work. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, and this is why. Okay, oops. Settings. Processor. Okay. And if you're wondering where I got this from, the IOU, there was a couple contracts that I worked on Cisco, and one of them is where I got two things: IOU and voice. God damn it! Voice manager. Okay, all right. Because that was something that was extremely hard to get without purchasing it. But when you work for Cisco, okay, as a contractor, all right, you're not a so-called blue badge. I think it's a blue badge, and then as a contractor, you're a red badge. But you can still interact with people, okay, as if you are a Cisco employee. Okay, so all you do is go to the GAL, right, which is your network, which is your database in Outlook. Okay, all right, and you do a search for collaboration, and it'll bring you up all the people who are CCIE collaborations in their titles. Okay, and you just just randomly reach out and say, hey, is there a server where I can actually download voice or IOU for virtualization because I'm going for my CCIE, okay? Or I want to practice some technologies and do labs, and they're going to give it to you. The thing about Cisco is this, okay? Cisco has a database completely isolated from the public, okay? All right? So, while I was working for TAC, okay, all right, I got access to that database, all right, and it literally is contained with only Cisco employees who are authorized to get that particular database, okay, and if you're working for Cisco TAC, obviously you're going to have access to that database, okay, but They also have software too that, unless you're working internally for Cisco and any, as a contractor or as a Blue Badge employee, you don't have access to it. Okay, so just in case you were curious how I have an IOU, but nonetheless. All right, let's edit this machine. Let's go to processor. Okay, am I crazy? Maybe this video doesn't have it. This is, you know what? Let's just get rid of this 'cause it doesn't work anyway. All right, so new machine. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so first of all, stop. All right, and settings. There it is. Okay. I don't know why I was missing from the other one, but this, okay, when you select this, okay, and this is kind of important if you're ever using virtualization, okay, all right, if you're going to be creating VMs within this VM, okay, this has to be enabled because this is literally like you going into the BIOS of the VM and enabling virtualization for your CPU, okay, so once that is enabled, okay, check this out. That's the error message I get, okay, all right, and this is something I cannot get rid of, all right. Now, this is making it impossible for me to install or to run the VM, okay, and I spent all day yesterday trying to do all these steps and constantly rebooting my computer. All right, with each step, okay, and none of it worked, okay. So, all right, just hang on for 1 second. Okay, sorry, got distracted. So now, okay, so I know what you're saying is, why, Kyle, are you doing virtualization anyway when you have real equipment? Well, remember, I just got a new desk, okay, all right, and I have my, now originally I had all my stuff sitting at the corner of the desk, all right, but this desk, even though it's 72 inches, has a 180-pound weight limit, and trust me, 2 heavy servers and 5 2800 routers and 3 switches, yeah, that's definitely more than 180 pounds, and not to mention the fact the desk was having a sway to it as I would use the desk to pull my chair forward. Okay, yeah, it was concerning me. So I got the equipment off of my new desk and put it on my old desk, which is on the other side of the room. But that changes the infrastructure of how I had things set up. Okay. All right, I have to add another switch on this desk and then add another switch over to, actually, no, I don't. I could just use the same switch, but still, I don't have any space for that switch, so I have to lift the one monitors with some 2x4s, and it's a process, okay? I can't get to my real equipment yet, even though it's like right there, from the connectivity, and we also got to understand, okay, there has to be some kind of setup where I can console into them from the COM ports of my computer, and they're not going to reach. I would have to get Ethernet couplers, okay, or couplings or whatever you want to call them, okay, and they have problems, okay, because I've used them before. Sometimes the connectivity is not strong. It creates error sometimes as far as the transmitting of keystrokes, but still, nonetheless, I don't have them anyway, so I'll have to order them. So now, here's the thing, okay? So not to mention the fact, virtualization, when it's a good virtualization, and it works, it's fantastic. So no longer is GNS3 or IOU or Eve a option for me. Okay, now I'm not going to go out and replace my motherboard and get an Intel processor, which I'm assuming that's what the problem is, because it's AMD, and I like to rag on AMD. just to rag on them because it's not Intel. So now, but next week, okay. Yeah, we're having a delay, okay, but that delay is short. It's not going to be like the original delay where it took weeks and a month or months. But we're talking about the middle of next week. I'm going to be purchasing the Cisco Virtual Lab, which, okay, I'm just now finding out because I did use Vira at one point, okay. But I used it for the Nexus platform, and that shit was nowhere near up to, not even. All right, but while I had the Cisco Viral, because remember, you're paying $100 for a certain period amount of time. I think it's for like a 1 year usage, and then you have to update it and pay the $100 every couple of years. I mean, every year. Now, Cisco Virtual Labs is $200. Okay, and if I had the money today, I would already have it today. But I gotta wait till I get paid. So that's what we're waiting for. So now, and I get paid next week. So we're gonna try that, and if that works, okay, we can continue on with the labbing. Okay, I still gotta get another desk, another Vira desk. I gotta figure out how I'm going to manipulate that. Okay, I got my bed right behind me. Okay, using the new Vira desk compared to the old desk, I still got a lot more space from this desk to the bed. Where before I could only scoot back like an inch, and my chair was hitting the back of the bed because the depth of the old desk was pretty big. Okay, so but nonetheless, growing pains. All right, but guys, I've gotten a lot of accomplished as far as getting the computer upgraded, getting the things that I needed, and so on and so on. So now, but nonetheless, that's why we're on hold. So we're going to continue on with we're talking about the next topic, all right, in my next video, and we just want me to do the labs at the moment, okay? Unless I can still, and I've been working on this all day yesterday, and unless I can figure out how to get around this crap with VMware and even VirtualBox. Okay, I download VirtualBox image for for Eve and for GNS3, and dude, it doesn't work on VirtualBox at all. All right, you gotta understand. Now, again, this could be a chipset virtualization issue, okay? But it is what it is, okay? Maybe the price of the actual computer was because of the chipset that I got, okay, which means now I got to do research on the processor and might have to buy a new processor. That's okay if the board can support the processor I have, and if I'm going to replace a motherboard, then I'm just going to get a new Intel processor and a new and another board for the Intel socket, okay? So, and that will be like, technically, seriously, that's me taking the Cyber PC that I bought, and every component in that computer has been replaced with my own, meaning that I really rebuilt it again. Okay? So, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes. And, guys, I'll see you in the next one.